So Tulsi Gabbard has announced that she's leaving the Democratic Party. She released a video on her YouTube channel talking about why she's leaving. She says that, I'm not going to play the video on here, you can look at it yourself, but she said that it's governed by an elitist cabal of warmongers who want to bring this country to nuclear war. That's true. It's also led by a bunch of people who support big tech censorship, who want to censor what you can and cannot say on the internet. So she's has a new show. She's on Rumble that you can watch, and so the shit lives have certain things to say about Tulsi Gabbard. So I'd like to play a clip of Emma Vigeland talking about Tulsi Gabbard announcing she's leaving the Democratic Party and respond to it after that.
Her kind of brand of, now she's a paleo conservative, the anti-Semitism that she's going to engage in is, because when they say cabal like this, when they talk about globalists, you know who they're talking about here, right? It's going to be that they're trying to push us towards war. But I just want to take a quick victory lap and indulge me for a second, because myself and Anna Kasparian, Anna in particular, because Anna was involved in an interview with Tulsi Gabbard where Tulsi refused to have her be included in the interview because she was afraid of the questions that she would ask because she's a coward. We received more hate than I've ever received on this platform for saying that Tulsi Gabbard had a lot of red flags and was an Islamophobe and had a history of anti-gay bigotry that went back for a long period of time and had connections to Narendra Modi and the fascists abroad, which was involved with her fundraising, and that she had all of these, she was pro-torture, all of these things. We brought that up, and the Jimmy Dore types who said she was more progressive than Bernie Sanders, despite not supporting Medicare for all, which now they're all about force the vote. They said to us that we were globalists, we were warmongers, and I just like to take an opportunity to say, go fuck yourself, and enjoy this turn from Tulsi Gabbard. See how maybe your arrogance about her positions on war were quite shallow, given her record of, again, supporting torture and other, I think, Islamophobic comments that underscore the fact that her anti-war positions were not based in any leftist principle or humanitarian principle. They were based in bigotry, saying, like, essentially indistinguishably from Tucker Carlson, I don't want to spend taxpayer dollars to liberate those dirty Muslims. That's really what her positions came down to.
Emma, the thing is, you support the shit-lib Democratic Party, which supports all the bad things you claim that Tulsi Gabbard supports. The Democratic Party supports torture. The Democratic Party supports the war on terror. The Democratic Party supports Islamophobia. It supports spying on Muslims, mass surveillance on Muslims, expanded during the NSA that dates back to post 9/11 and the war on terror. You support all of that stuff. If you support the Democratic Party, then so does the Squad. They support the war on terror. They also support arming Azov Battalion neo-Nazis in Ukraine. So don't lecture me about how pro-war Tulsi Gabbard is. You see, the same people who lied to us about Russiagate, the same people who lied to us about Syria, the same people who lied to us about Force the Vote, are the same people telling us that Tulsi Gabbard is not a real leftist. Well, who are you to tell me that, to gatekeep and tell us, the rest of us, that Tulsi's not a real leftist? You're not a real leftist. Tulsi Gabbard is the only person who has stood up against the war in Ukraine, against arming Ukrainian neo-Nazis, and and Jose Vega, who heckled AOC, called her out for arming Ukrainian neo-Nazis. She called him rude. She doesn't want to listen to people criticizing her for arming Ukrainian neo-Nazis, and Tulsi's the only person who stood up to us to the war against the war in Ukraine. She's also the only person who has stood up and supported Medicare for all. Now, it's not true that Tulsi doesn't support Medicare for all. She supports the Australian version of universal health care.
In a nutshell, it is making sure that through a single payer plus plan, every single American would automatically be able to get the care that they need through this plan. If you also want to purchase a supplementary insurance plan, or you've got an employer-sponsored plan, or you have something else going on, you have the freedom to do so if you want. But that does not undermine or take away from every single person being able to get the quality care that every single American deserves.
And everybody pays in. So
Yes.
nobody gets to opt out. So the
That's
way
right.
it works in Australia, and they call their system Medicare,
Right.
is everybody pays in.
That's right.
And so, but you can also then purchase, but when you pay in, you don't get to choose your doctor, but you get to choose your hospital. You get to go to a hospital, you get to get taken care of, but you might have to share a room and you don't get to choose your doctor. Now, if you buy private insurance on top of that, you're allowed to then also pick your doctor and get a private room because you're paying more for that thing so that's the way they run it there. And it seems everybody was really happy with their health care, and they couldn't believe how we did it here in the United States. So that to me is 1,000% improvement. That certainly is still Medicare for all.
In Australia, they have Medicare for all. It's just that those who want to keep their private health insurance don't have to get rid of it. Now, you might say, Nathan, that's not Medicare for all. That's a public option. That's a two-tier system. Well, it's a lot better than what you're going to get from the shit-lib Democratic Party. And unlike the Squad, Tulsi Gabbard actually believes in what she says. So what you're going to get from Tulsi is a lot better than what you're going to get from the Fraud Squad. That's for sure. So Tulsi speaks the truth. And the real reason people smear Tulsi Gabbard is because they're paid DNC shills. People like the Young Turks, people like Kyle Klinsky, people like Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland are funded by the deep state, the FBI, the CIA, and George Soros. So, along with Jimmy Dore, Tulsi Gabbard is one of my preferred presidential candidates as far as 2024 prospects go. Anyway, there you have it.